evening, ladies, gentlemen, and ladymen. Welcome back to week 3 of the Mythic Esports Starcaster series. Tonight's matchup features second place TPO We Hate Renekton versus third place TPO No Penta. The Crocodile Haters' last outing onto the Rift resulted in a 2-1 victory over Knowledge Yield's Strength. On the other hand, No Penta came away with an even more convincing 2-0, defeating the GOATs last weekend. However, I have heard that the Renekton Haters are an extremely formidable squad, and they should indeed be favored in tonight's bout. Making my return to the casting couch, my name is Chris Crewman Newman, and joining me tonight is our good Lord Noble. How are you tonight, my good sir?
Evening. I'm doing pretty good. Glowing quite a bit here, though, for some reason.
You are indeed very well illuminated there, Noble. Um, Maybe it's just because you're the star of the stream here. We need to make
Doing my
sure that you're nice
best.
and well lit, so that everybody can get a nice clear look at you. But I'm sure we'll be getting a nice clear look at our teams relatively soon. Going to be making our way in draft. But Noble, I understand that you've been doing a fair amount of casting here in the Starcaster series. So how's it been so far? Who are your players to watch out for on these two squads?
Um, well, overall, the teams have been very good in their just their overall like meshing together. They've been very strong and very flexible while picking some good good picks overall. I've seen Sejuani a couple times too, and that's something I always hate to see personally because Sejuani's very
Hmm.
good flex pick, top, support, jungle. And she's all over the map always, very strong and hard to kill, and very big CC too. So that's always something I always want to look out for, just because you can see it almost anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of being tanky and having lots of CC, there's a certain tree that has been doing a little bit of tearing up of the metagame right now. I know he was very prominently featured in my own Clash bracket a couple of weeks ago, and he's been seeing quite a lot of play in competitive as well. So I'm curious if maybe we're gonna see a little bit of tree gaming coming out onto the Rift tonight.
I hate
I don't
that
know if he's been.
champion.
Are there any champions that you like, Noble?
Um, I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Fiddlesticks recently. He's pretty fun to
Ah,
play.
okay.
I like him. He has a
He's
very
pretty good.
nice clear, and he's actually surprisingly a lot stronger than I thought. And I feel like a lot of other people just don't think he's that strong early too. And they'll like fight you and you can easily win the fight too. And it's like, wow, I did not expect that. So that's always nice.
Mm. Well, now that you've warned us, maybe we will expect it. Hard to
Hmm.
say though. Just have to wait and see. I understand that there's okay. We're getting some R's in the client chat here, so I think we are going to be getting into the draft very shortly now, guys. Please excuse the little bit of a delay here. But in terms of other popular champions that we've been seeing right now, the Aatrox has been extremely popular and competitive. Not so much in lower elos, but I certainly think that the Darken could make an appearance here. Syndra also received a little bit of an update on this patch. I'm not sure if she's actually enabled for this week of play here in the Starcaster series or not. I'm not quite sure what the rules and regulations are concerning that one, but that could be another interesting possibility. Maybe see some slightly reworked Syndra coming onto the Rift tonight, perhaps.
Oh yeah, definitely love to see it. I've actually seen Graves a bit too. Graves,
Sure.
don't like seeing Graves. I see him
That's
too
another one of those
much.
champions that we don't like, huh, Noble?
Yeah, I see him too much. Kind of sick of seeing Graves, dash, bam, bam, dash, It's like, all right,
Mhm.
I've seen enough. And it looks like we're
I see.
actually
I
getting
see.
into the ban phase here as well. And it
Are
looks
we?
like on the side of
Ah.
TPO, We Hate Renekton, we have a ban on Kaisa and Renata. And on the other side here, we have a ban on Zac and Vlad so far. So a lot of really good champs. I know that I've seen Kaisa kind of shining a lot, especially recently. So that is one thing that I've seen. Definitely good ban. And the Renata also, her utility, very good both her ultimate and I believe, is it her W or her E? Whatever makes you basically Kimtech Drake, but you can survive if you get a kill.
That would be the
That
W,
is,
yes.
yeah, very, very strong ability overall. Because, you know, you like try to focus someone down, and if they get a kill or an assist, then they get brought back kinda. So very strong overall. It looks like the tree that you were bringing up, Maokai, is getting banned out here, as well as a
Very
Victor
strong.
ban. So overall, very good bans so far for the first ban phase, and we're gonna be moving into the draft shortly. So
Yep, yep, yep. It is, yeah, it's an interesting kind of slew of bans. There doesn't really seem to be any specific focus from either
ah,
one of these teams in terms of like like a specific player that they're trying to ban away or a specific role or anything like that. Just trying to take away some comfort picks maybe on either side. But we are going for that Sejuani Noble. I'm sorry to disappoint you here. I know this is not what you were hoping for,
it
but
is
it will
not.
indeed be the Ice Pig and its rider, and then that's looking like potentially an Ezreal over here for no Penta. Ezreal, a champion that actually I am not necessarily the biggest fan of right now. Coincidentally, I just feel like he has not necessarily found his place in the meta really ever since the durability patch. I feel like he doesn't quite have the consistent DPS required to break through a front line. And there are just kind of other champions that I feel like do a little bit better job of playing at range than he does right now as well. So not not super sure what the idea is behind the Ezreal pick here. Maybe again, this is really just more of a comfort pick. Let's see if I can take a look here. Don't necessarily see a whole lot of Ezreal in the match history, but we'll see the pairing with the Leona. What do you think about that, Noble? What do you think about that Ezreal
Definitely a
Leona first
safer
rotation?
lane. Leona, you know, to just wave off anything. Also good CC for team fights. Ezreal, I feel like they're just trying to survive the laning phase. Honestly, they might be anticipating like a strong pick that they need to get away from, such as like a Draven or a Varus, if there's a Varus. Um, so definitely trying to avoid those skill shots and just that high amount of damage. I see a TK. I'm assuming he is support. I hate Tom Kench personally. He's another champion I don't like seeing because he's just so strong. He has all of the CC. He's a very healthy champion because of his Q and his shield and his healing, and he just builds tank, but he also has a very high damage output as well. So he's someone that you don't ever want near your squishies at all because he'll just mow them down. And it looks like we got a Trundle locked in here. I'm assuming that's Trundle jungle. And we're moving into the secondary ban phase now, and it looks like we have a Set ban as well as a Morgana ban. Set, I personally love seeing Set. I enjoy playing Set, so that's one of the reasons, but Set I feel like is a very interesting lane to watch as long as it isn't just a straight up counter match. So I definitely it's a little sad to see Set go, but I understand why.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I did actually have a quick question here for production. So, according to the stream that we're looking at here, it does appear that We Hate Renekton is drafting from blue side, but taking a look into the actual client, it appears that they have lined up on the red side. So, not quite sure like who's actually drafting on which side right now. If we could just get some confirmation on that. Okay, so We Hate Renekton will in fact be on the blue side for game one. So uh draft here that we are seeing online, the online draft is the correct version of things. So all squared away there, all good. And of course, yeah, no Penta going to be on the red side. So Silas locked in for the side of Funny Beaver here. And that is a blind Silas. So we do not know what the Silas will be leaning against just yet. Could potentially be a Cassidon. It
Oh
would
yeah,
be a
definitely the
Cassidon Noble.
Casa win.
What do we think about
Definitely.
Cassidon? Do we like
I like
Cassidon or do we not like Cassidon?
um my friend plays Cassidon. I do enjoy
Oh,
watching him because I do know his mechanics because I've seen my friend play Cassidon so much,
we
but
like kind of tangentially like Cassidon. We like Cassidon by association.
Yes.
I see.
And the
I see.
fact that I know decently well how he works, so I can assume how they're going to play. And overall,
Hmm.
average burst mage that has a million dashes and does a lot of damage. So that's always fun to watch. I like the Silas pick. I had a feeling that it was going to be a. There's a certain amount of ideas you get when you see a Silas picked and there's no mid laner on the enemy team yet. So you're like, all right, well, are they going to pick a champ such as like Vex or someone else who can be utilized by Silas very well? Are we going to see, someone who Silas can't really utilize his ult, such as, a Kassadin being very big because not only is there no ramp up, I'm not too sure if Silas grabs whatever ramp of Kassadin ult that there is currently,
I'm
or
actually
if it's
not sure
just
how that works
maximum or
either.
minimum. But
No idea.
Silas, I feel like, if he doesn't have the good utility of being able to use Kassadin ult, for instance, it's just less kill pressure that Silas has.
Yeah, yeah. So the pick of the Ornn here, I do find interesting, Noble, because that is a good ultimate for Silas to steal. Very good, in
Hmm.
fact. So he's going to be really happy about that one. And he does have some other pretty good options here as well, namely the Sejuani ultimate, the Glacial Prison, and then, of course, the Chains of Corruption as well. Can be really nice for Silas to lock people in place so that he can then maul them with his chains, potentially. Um, and just kind of continuing to build on the picks that we have here for the Renekton haters. They are extraordinarily tanky.
Hmm.
They have a lot of frontline. Um, and then they have Kassadin and a Varus.
They have a
Um,
very good all-in comp, while Varus is able to play safe.
hmm. Well, my concern, Noble, actually, is that if they do go all in on the side of we hate Renekton, will they be able to kill anyone? Is my
Um,
question.
I foresee the Gwen maybe being an issue. I know she took a pretty bad hit from durability, if I'm not mistaken. As well as, they take the risk of, Silas stealing Sejuani or Ornn ult, for instance, and that being very big. Or even with Varus ult. But since we do see so many tanks, we're also most likely going to see, tenacity. As we do see a Leona, a Gwen, a Silas, we're most likely going to be seeing Mercuries on all of them. As well as they'll either have unflinching or legend tenacity. So I feel like that is something where they're going to have a lot of resistance to any slows or stuns. As well as, I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of Sunfire this game too. So the overall damage from that item is quite fun, I guess. So that's one thing I feel like we're definitely going to be seeing here. Though the Trundle here, so many tanks against the Trundle is interesting because it gives him so much like availability to use his ult.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of good targets for the Trundle. He is really going to have his pick of the litter here, no doubt about it. And Gwen actually fares quite well into the tanks as well. Something that I think you already touched on briefly, is that the Gwen could definitely be a problem here for the Renekton haters. Going to be doing a lot of that percent HP damage. That's going to be so effective against the top side here, the Ornn and the Sejuani. Um, and I did actually, I had a cast a couple of days ago in a different league, and I had an Ezreal player over there, who actually was against a somewhat of a similar composition here, Noble, where it was very tanky. There was a lot of frontline, and the Ezreal player actually just did like a full DPS build. I think we may have seen this actually in competitive recently as well, and in professional play, I should say, where the Ezreal will just go Conqueror, and like Divine Sunderer and just build, or Trinity Force. I mean, Conqueror Trinity Force for the
Hmm.
attack speed, and then it'll just stack up the Conqueror really, really quickly and actually be that hyper carry threat that we've seen Ezreal be in ages past. So I do think upon seeing the compositions fully fleshed out here, Noble, that the side of no Penta actually have a lot of things to work with.
Hmm.
And to be honest, I don't know. I mean, the side of the Renekton haters have a lot of scaling, right? I mean, they've got Ornn
Hmm.
for the Ornn items. They've got Kassadin, the quintessential, one of the quintessential scaling champions in League of Legends. But I do think that they may have a pretty difficult time getting there. I think Kassadin is not very strong, hasn't really been very strong for a while, and I just don't know if Varus is going to be enough damage to get you to a point where Kassadin hits level 16 and then can suddenly start doing things.
That is true. But I can agree with that. Honestly, they do have that kind of comp build, but I feel like Ezreal isn't going to thrive too early here
Sure.
to where it'll be over by, let's say 20, 25 minutes. I feel like they might get to the point where they start getting the Ornn items in, they start getting their like 4th item in, and they're getting pretty far ahead. And since there's just a lot more overall tank DPS, I guess you could say, due to, Bomby Cinder passive and Sunfire damage from the side of Renekton here with the TK, Sage, and Ornn. I feel like we see Frostfire on Tom, but we'll see a decent amount of Sunfire this game. As well as Cass, once he gets there and he grabs... I assume he's going to be ending up with Eye of Lunid at the end of this game, so he'll be fairly strong with that as well.
The Luden's item you were saying for the Kassadin is your prediction?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be. I think I've seen a lot of Everfrost on Kassadin. But to be honest, I have no idea what Kassadin builds these days. I don't know what the most common mythic is. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of build Funny Beaver decides to go for. I mean, he's laning. We've got double AP solo laners over here for the side of no Penta. It's Gwen Silas, so a little bit of magic resist in there potentially. But then you have to consider the fact that Kassadin is going to be one of the main damage dealers later on into the game for this squad. So making a pit stop for a Banshee's Veil could feel kind of bad in that context. Yeah, but it'll be interesting. We'll see what he decides to go for, and also the Varus build. Varus is one of those champions that we know there's a couple of different options that he can go for. So I'll be also very interested to see if Yiku wants to go for like a lethality build that would be a little bit more focused on the lane and trying to deny the side of no Penta from building that early advantage and snowballing the game, or if he's going to go for the on-hit build, which would be better against the frontliners, better for team fights, assuming that he is able to hit. But yeah, really quickly, we are actually finished up that spectator delay. Noble, let's get a quick prediction from you. Which draft do you like better? Who's taking game
1? We hit Renekton. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, Noble's predicting the Renekton haters for game 1. We'll be right back with week 3 of the Starcaster series. Don't go anywhere. right, everybody. Welcome to Summoner's Rift for our first game of the night.
Welcome
We hate
to
Renekton
Summoner's
on
Rift.
the blue side, and Team No Penta on the red side. Any runes or summoner spells jumping out at you, Noble?
30
Let's
seconds until
see.
minions spawn.
Not really. We do have Conk on Gwen. I know Lethal Tempo is also very strong on her. We do see the Conk Ezreal as well,
Yeah.
which you brought up earlier. Surprisingly, too, we see Conk on Trundle. I know that he thrives with both PTA and Lethal Tempo. It looks like we also might see a Deep Ward or even an Invade here. As well as Cassidon getting that one CS
Minions have
worth, or one
spawned.
ward worth of CS. I
Massive.
believe it's same value as a caster early game.
Yeah. Game's over, actually.
Yep.
Caston has a CS, so he's going to be
He
first blood
actually has
too.
an
So,
XP lead of one caster minion.
yeah. So no Penta. Might as well just go ahead and surrender the game at this point, as it is
Exactly.
completely over.
Ezreal also,
Um,
just grabbing a little bit of tier stacks here. He's at 12. So I am not sure if Mana Mira or Mura Mana, that is one item I don't know how to pronounce. I'm not sure if that item is on hit or not, because I personally have never played anyone who builds it, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what you mean by on hit, but you only get the stacks on it for hitting abilities, not auto attacks.
Okay, well, I mean the full item, like when you have the finished item.
Oh, like the buff, the ability that it gives you, I believe does
Yeah.
apply to all damage. I could be mistaken, but I'm fairly certain that that does apply to all of your damage. Is converted based on your maximum mana. You get that additional boost there. Yeah, I imagine that we might even be seeing a couple of those Murmanas coming out from the marksman down there in the bottom side this game, but it is lethal tempo on the Varus, so we might just be getting the full on hit build.
Oh yeah, Rageblade Varus, kind of scary.
Yeah. Could be exciting. And I do like the Conqueror on the Trundle as well, just given the fact that he is against so many melee champions, gives him all of that extra healing, gives him a lot more survivability in team fights. So I think that does make some sense as well.
I can agree with that. Personally, I feel like it thrives with just Divine Sunder because of the new sustain that Divine Sunder provides. Sure, it gives a little less of the armor and magic penetration, but the overall, like, just sustainability in a fight just seems so much greater than it used to.
And we did see both of our junglers, Noble, starting on the bottom side of the map, so we are both now looking at them on the top side here. They're going to run into each other in the top side river. So we have both sides, plenty of vision, know exactly what's going on. We're going to get the Searing Charge into the wall here. Tanuki trying to walk his way out on the Troll King. Should be able to escape. Does get connected on by the Arctic Assault, though. That will force out the flash from Tanuki. So a nice little early advantage picked up by We Hate Renekton. And quick note here for production is I actually have no game sound. I don't know if there's a way to fix that or not, but it's a slightly setting. Okay, the first proposed fix was ineffective, but we'll keep working on that one. And I don't really need the sound to cast. That's okay. It's not really that big of a deal.
We do have the audio in the stream, so we are fine.
True. Oh, that's Rhythm getting taken out for first blood. Anborn now in trouble as well. He's going to have to flash out, try and make his way to safety here. Going to have to dodge the tongue lash. It's the flash into the hail of arrows. Eco picks up number 2. Gabriel is in trouble in the mid lane here as well. Extremely low. Losing to Cassidon pre-6. Not a great look for Gabriel. Little unfortunate there. He's down like 10 CS, 13 CS as well. It's 2 full waves. Not really sure how that happened.
Yeah, Cassidon here with perfect CS as well.
Okay, Gabriel going back in. Didn't quite land the chains there. I think that was onto a minion, and the flash. Oh, the tongue lash goes wide, but that is going to allow Funny Beaver to flash forward with the Q and pick up that kill for himself. So Cassidon on the board, well on his way to level 6 and beyond. And overall, a really incredible start here for the Crocodile haters.
Oh yeah, certainly. Cassidon opting in to start with the Doron shield. So going for a more safe lane rather than the Chad Darkseal start. But it ended up paying out for the end, because he did have the sustain he needed to sit in lane, take some damage from Silas, but win all of the trades. So very nice to see that. We also see Trundle and Ezreal with their disgusting Sheen scaling. They grabbed their one and only item they need for winning, Sheen.
I take it Sheen is another thing that we don't like. Is that right, Noble? Would I be correct in
I
that?
don't like Sheen because I don't like Jax,
Assertion.
personally.
I see, I see.
Or
Okay,
Gangplank.
Xenoblade going in. Yiku gonna get locked up here. Pillar comes down as well. Bears in some trouble down to 200 HP. He's burning Ezreal with the last auto attack and the shutdown. Picked up by Rhythm. Magus Knight now under the tower. He will escape. That means no Penta is on the board.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Gabriel coming down here. He's found a catfish all by himself, but Magus Knight will dive underneath his tier 1 tower, and he will stay alive.
Gwen actually has a level lead right now and will possibly engage here in a second on the Ornn. Either that or they might just play it passive.
We are looking at a Dragon start here for no Penta. They're going to be able to lock down that first neutral objective of the game. Sejuani in the area. Doesn't have any vision over what's going down here just yet, but looks like she's about to be charging blindly into the Dragon Pit. And now let's see what happens. Aztec War Priest in the pit. Can they finish off the Sejuani? Yes, indeed they can. Very, very easy cleanup there for no Penta. Able to take out the Dragon with a bonus enemy jungler. Don't you love it, Noble?
Oh yeah, I did. Also, what we saw off stream, Gwen did take quite a bit of damage in a trade from Ornn and was forced to back.
Yeah. Did have access to the TP, but electing not to use it. Just going to go ahead and hook it back to lane. Will lose some minions as a result. But I'm just wanting to hang on to that summoner spell, I guess. Ooh, lost a plate there as well. A nice little early lead now for the Wild Snob.
Varus opting in for Noon Quiver as well as Cull, so we can get some of that farming in as well.
Okay, here comes Tanuki back into the mid lane, looking to potentially punish a Caster, but he does have access to the Rift Walk now, and he was never really in any danger whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely a safe lane. Once you get 6 on Cassidy, unless you're against like a Tristana, for instance, you have a very safe lane once you hit 6.
Yes, certainly the case. And honestly, Gabriel wasn't able to make too much happen before 6 either. So I'm imagining that Funny Beaver is feeling extraordinarily comfortable at this point. Although, as I say that, Gabriel going back in, looking for something. But again, not quite able to find it.
Cassidy looks like he has enough mana for about 3 more Rift Walks, unless he chooses to not ramp up.
There's a Leona also lurking over here in the darkness. Aztec War Priest in the area on the other side of mid lane. Looks like Anbor just wanted to make sure that Silas could get that wave shoved in, and now he will allow Gabriel to go for a reset. Rift Herald is alive. Nobody making a move towards that one just yet. It's only been onto the Rift for about 30 seconds. Still plenty of time for these teams to make a move towards that objective. We are looking at CS leads across the board for We Hate Renekton. And they have been able to garner themselves a 2k gold lead here about 9 minutes into the game.
Oh yeah, very nice here. Looks like they're not going to do too much trading here. Cassidy going to opt in to take his safe back. It looks like it might just be a more passive lane. Or the top lane, at least. Gwen opting in to not really take any trades. Possibly going to wait here for the Trundle. It looks like the Gwen actually might pop her ultimate here in a second.
Trundle also has his ultimate, so he's going to throw down the pillar, and Wild Snom will immediately destroy it with the Searing Charge. Subjugate not used just yet. Tanuki is just going for a couple of bonks with his club, but he's getting charged at by a very angry Ice Pig right now, and Silas going to land the chains. Gabriel finds his way into the top lane, and he absolutely annihilates that enemy jungler, and now Wild Snom throws out the Call of the Forge God, but there is absolutely no follow-up whatsoever, and now he has no mana, and he's just going to have to collect this wave under the tower. Funny Beaver makes his way up here, but he's a little bit too late for the play. Gabriel goes over the wall with the chains. Not sure that's where he wanted to be, but he will be able to walk his way out of that one. And overall, As the dust settles, that's just going to be one more kill for no Penta. They're going to get some prio in top lane, and they're going to go ahead and start up that Rift Herald. Meanwhile, in the bottom side, Magus Knight is going to find himself a very tasty-looking Ezreal to snack on. That's going to be a Tongue Lash connecting. That's Ezreal running out of HP. He's going to use the heal. He's going to use the flash. The flash follows there for Magus Knight. And one more lick's going to do it. Magus Knight gets his meal.
Yep, Varus also opting in to get some nice free farm, as Leona has been roaming for about 2 to 3 minutes now. And Varus now up to 80 CS, almost at perfect CS right now. So doing very good. Actually going to opt in, most likely shove this wave in and grab some plates as there's no contest.
Ooh, that's going to be a big fight breaking out here in the mid lane. The Glacial Prison connects onto the Leona, and Boar does have the flash. Going to have to use it to try and get his way to safety. Just uses the Zenith Blade for now. Buy some more time for his mid laner, and they actually do get a kill onto Funny Beaver. The Ignite comes down, and Anbor is able to pick that one up. So it actually becomes, I believe, just a one kill picked up there for no Penta, keeping this game nice and close. It's just holding steady at that 2,000 gold deficit.
Oh yeah, definitely just sitting there. They do have a drag advantage though. Obviously it is only one, but as long as they can maintain getting the majority of the drags, they should be good.
They do have the Rift Herald as well. They can use that for prio in one of these lanes in order to potentially collect that next neutral objective for themselves. Would be 3 neutrals in a row for no Penta if they can lock that one down.
Also having some very nice river vision here, bot side, on the side of red. So gonna just keep getting that like main core vision they need to make sure that they have all side for drag.
Yeah, certainly something they're going to be playing for. Here comes Rift Herald into the mid lane. Aztec War Priest in the area, as is Magus Knight. And they are going to potentially look to completely deny the Herald charge here.
Nice.
Tanuki, I mean, he used it for the prio to get the first rotation in towards the dragon here, but he was not able to use it to get any turret plates. So that mid lane tier 1 extremely healthy here. And we can see Aztec War Priest just squatting on that blast cone. He's ready to go. He's in a little bit early again. Hopefully this time it works out better for him than last time. As the Sejuani continuing to bide for time. In the back of the Dragon Pit, in goes Anbor with the engage. Abyssal dive over the wall. Tahm Kench to knock up onto 2, but Aztec War Priest forced to retreat. And the Tahm Kench will be the sack for official seafood. As the Dragon aggro does reset. We have a piercing arrow over the top. Anbor extremely low on the Leona. But the Dragon will be secured. 3 neutrals in a row for no Penta. And the side of We Hate Renekton showing a little bit of a lack of composure, I think, in these team fight situations.
Oh, most definitely. Ornn actually hasn't been... I'm not too sure if he's backed out of lane yet. He's just been sitting top. He grabbed his Sunfire, which, no surprise to me at least, but it looks like Sejuani actually could possibly be opting in for some Ninja Tabi, as she is holding onto 2 cloth armor right now.
Yeah, definitely could be the case. Would not be something that we predicted, as you were talking about those Merc Treads earlier against all of these magic damage dealers. Although I will say there isn't really an overwhelming amount of CC on the side of no Penta. It's really just the Leona, and I mean, I guess Trundle and Gwen have slows. But, you know, the tenacity, you're not really going to get a ton of value out of that in this game for the side of We Hate Renekton. But here comes Tanuki. He's going to put down a pillar, but Funny Reaver, again, just kind of... Oh, he does use the flash, actually. He is forced to use the flash. Chasta not willing to wait until the Rift Walk came back off its short cooldown there. Does elect to use the Summoner spell just to be extra careful. And he will keep himself safe and relatively healthy for now as the episode 5 goes in and Borg gets knocked up. The acquired taste stacks are applied. Leona getting a little bit low, but the Solar Flare is very good onto the Varus there. Varus going to get spit back out of the belly, and he's taking names. Takes down the enemy Leona, and that is going to be another double kill for Yiku, trying to carry the squad here from bot lane. Meanwhile, on top side, Wild Snam collects first brick for himself as that top tier 1 falls. Nuki on the chase, but Mr. Trundle, you are 3 levels down to this Ornn. 3 levels, and you are opting into the 1v1. And that was just a really, really terrible idea.
That was, especially, you know, Trundle doesn't have a finished item yet. He only has Sheen and Tiamat. And Ornn already having a finished Sunfire, getting that extra damage as well as the ramp-up damage from sustained fighting in an area against enemy champions from Sunfire, or and also his brittle, removing armor, and overall his amount of CC and grasp giving him that little bit of sustain as well. I'm not too sure why the Trundle decided he was going to fight that, even with Conquer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was not close, as we could see. Wild Snom made short work of the Troll King, and he's a very rich Ornn. He is very very far ahead.
Oh
30
yeah, most
CS
certainly.
plus. I'm actually just noticing here. It was not the Ornn that picked up the kill onto the Trundle, despite the fact that he did
That was the
99% of
Sage
the damage.
with
It was
the
literally
Glacial
the
Prism.
Glacial Prison stole the kill from his top laner. Very, very funny. But the Solar Flare is going to come down onto this 4-in-1 Varus. The hope here, well, him and Ornn, I guess. But the Varus will get taken down, and the Troll gets revenge as a newbie finds number 3 for himself. Rio continuing to lose in the 1v1s against him, but Funny goes into the tower! And he goes down, and the 1v1 gets Silas right back into things. It's still extremely close in the kill count here, Noble, 8-7. But if we actually take a look at the gold lead, if we combine the CS advantages, which are continuing to grow, by the way.
There's about a 5,000
addition,
gold difference right now overall.
yeah,
5.2 thousand.
That is indeed the number. As,
Even though Red is going to pick up another objective, it looks like. They might get some contesting from Ornn and Sej, though. And Varus and TK are also collapsing.
Okay, we got the fight breaking now. Call of the Forest God comes out. We get the knock-up only onto the Trundle, and the Trundle will get the smite anyway. He locks down the objective. Was anybody able to pick up the Eye of the Herald? Yes, Trundle did get it before he went down, but this fight is going to be extremely Renekton hater favored, as they are just collecting all of these heads.
Goodness.
It is going to be the clean ace on the back end of that one. They add 5 more bodies to the mass grave here, and I don't think they're really going to be all that upset about losing the second Herald. They're going to be okay.
Sure, they're down in objectives, but they do have a very high scaling comp, as well as a, it looks like 7.4 thousand gold lead right now. 7.6 now. They are just racking in cash.
Yes, indeedy. Dragon number 3 on the Rift is going to be a Hextech Soul this game, so it is critical that the side of the Renekton haters do put a stop to the soul stacking. It looks like they should be able to do so fairly comfortably, as I do not think that the Troll King is going to be anywhere near here. That will be the first dragon of the game before we hit the next one.
Ornn already finishing his Thimble Winter, that is what the item is called. And is it already Winter's Approach? It looks like it. I believe it's Winter's Approach. I haven't seen the item built too often. So, already, you know, Ornn has 2 full items. He's opted in for the Ninja Tabi, and so he's up there already. CC King, high mana pool, you know, he's going to be getting a lot more sustain in fights just from the mana shield.
Okay, Nagus Knight a little bit out of position here. He's going to go for the dive, and he's out of there. A little bit disappointing there from No Penta. They have so much CC between... Okay, I'm gonna have to stop myself there. Funny Fever is casted. He is going to Rift Walk away. There's plenty of CC coming out from the other side. As the heal is very good there for the mid laner. Funny Beaver very comfortably able to make his way out. But I really do feel like that was a little bit of a fumble from No Penta, as I think that they could have saved one of those CC abilities. You know that Tom Kendra's only way out of that situation is with the Abyssal Dive. You can easily cancel that with CC, but they didn't save any of their CC abilities for when he went for
Ice Pillar. I'm not too sure what the ability's called. Is it Pillar of Ice or...
Yes, I believe it is Pillar of Ice.
There you go, right there. Wasted the Pillar of Ice. We've seen it twice now. He would have been able to use it as a disrupt for the Tahm Kench, and Tahm Kench wouldn't have been able to dive away.
Need to clean up the micro in these fights a little bit for the side of No Penta. But they do still have some time. You know, they are very far down in this game. And Ornn and Kasten are both closing in on that dreaded level 16 mark, where they will just become pretty much unstoppable. But there's a little bit of time before we get there still. You know, maybe if they can find another big team fight win around the 4th dragon, get themselves on Hextech Soul points. You know, there's a window there. There's a chance, a possibility, perhaps.
Well,
But
actually gonna force a Baron here.
that's
Maybe
a
in a Baron
20-minute
fight.
Baron start immediately on spawn. We hate Renekton are just going to go straight to it.
They have no defensive vision for Baron either.
And no Penta just doesn't suspect a thing. They're not even.
They're gonna try and
not even gonna check.
two
They
mid
just had no
towers
idea.
here, but they can't even. They might get one. I'm not too sure if they'll get two. I believe the team will be able to collapse in time and stop the Herald.
I think so. May get the charge here.
Yep,
Nope,
there we go.
Giovanni
Nice.
flies
My
in there,
goodness.
pops the eyeball. It will be just that singular mid-tier 1 in exchange for the Baron Nasher.
There's
Building
only
up
been
that gold
one
lead
tower
now.
taken on the side of red so far.
Cassidy. He's fine. He's actually.
He's Cassidy.
Yep, no worries in the world. Funny Beaver just saunters away from that one. And now with this Baron, I mean, there's a couple of different directions we could go from here, Noble, but I really am of the opinion that this game is looking pretty over.
Oh yeah, certainly over. And like I said, you know, who knows if we'll see the game being over by 20, 25 minutes. But it's looking that way, unfortunately. Almost a 9K gold lead now, I believe.
Yeah, right
almost
around
a
there.
9K, yeah.
But Noble, what I wanted to ask you here is how you think that the side of We Hate Renekton could best utilize this Baron buff in order to try and end the game as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Well, honestly, I feel like if we force a 1-3-1 and put the people with the less utilizable ults from the Silas in the 3, we should be able to see a pretty good outcome here, I feel like. Because either they're going to have to stack, because they'll lose the 3v3, but the 3v5 will allow, you know, bot and top to get pushed in if, you know, they opt in to all go mid.
So, Noble, is Sejuani doing Gromp while the rest of the team is pushing lanes and setting up for Dragon number 4, a part of that plan, or do you think that would be potentially ill-advised?
You know, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how much gold she's sitting on right now. She's only sitting on 400 gold, so she got, what, 126 from the Gromp? I think she's just clearing, and then they're just clearing the majority of the map.
Yeah, just playing for the Dragon. She was able to make her way over here with plenty of time, so I overreacted a little bit there. Now they are going for the fight. Anvor goes back in with the Zenith Blade, but only to his own demise, as Tanuki will attempt to flash away to keep himself alive. Call the Forge Guy comes out, does get the knock-up onto 2. Aztec Warp Priest deep behind the turret here, going down extremely low, but will be devoured by the Tom Kench, and therefore will be kept alive.
There we go. Game's over.
Yeah, that was another 3 for nothing. Another decisive team fight win for We Hate Renekton. They're going to be able to easily fall back to this Dragon. They've got
second Hex Drake, get that, what is it, ability haste and attack speed, 6 of each, I believe. So I haven't seen Gwen in any fight at all. No team fights from the Gwen, even though teleport has been up. Though I'm not too sure if it would have changed much. I think she's been in one team fight so far, which was it the Rift fight? Or, it might have been the Drag fight, actually. I'm not too sure. But Gwen has been quite absent, if you couldn't tell, with only coming in with 1 KP total. So, yeah.
definitely going to be looking for Numbnuts to potentially step things up a little bit in our second game. You know, going down that far to Ornn in lane is really not a position that you want to be in, or your team wants to be in. So, you know, if that means just banning away the Ornn, or going for maybe a different kind of counter pick, or maybe just trying to match the scaling with another big tanky frontliner, you know, I think there's a number of different avenues that you could potentially go for here. But the Gwen certainly has not been impressing us, I think we can say. As the rhythm is extremely dead.
Oh, there goes Ezreal.
Like, unbelievably dead.
Destroyed.
Yeah, just like really eviscerated there in the mid lane.
Yeah, he is gone. I'm not too sure what level Ezreal is, but...
Okay, well, Yiku is going to have to make his way out of here now, as the side of No Penta did bring numbers to the area, but they still lost the tier 2, the Winions, I should say. Went ahead and took that one out. And the push continues. Soon we will be on to the tier 3s as Wild Snom gets the knock up. We're going back to the mid lane though as a big old fight's breaking out. Anbor getting down pretty low here. One more arrow might finish the job. Glacial Prison flies out there. Cannot quite find the mark. Meanwhile, off screen, Wild Snom did collect yet another solo kill for himself up there onto Numbnuts as Tom Kench once again abyssally dives his way to safety. The Mystic Shot not going to find the mark. Gabriel, True Shot Barrage misses as well. Allows the Devourer to come through. Warp Priest may have to sacrifice himself for the good of the colony, and he will do so, but they managed to take the Silas down on the way out here, so it will still be a one team fight for We Hate Renekton. Up an additional kill there. I guess even 2 additional kills if you count the Ezreal going down as well. And, they're just continuing to build the lead, Noble. We're up to, what is that, 13K now? 14K? Something ridiculous like this.
Oh, pretty big lead here. It looks like, just about a 13K lead now. Silas opted in for Everfrost. Not too sure if I discussed Everfrost or not. I don't like it against this tanky comp, I feel like any other item, any other mage item just about would have been better here. Obviously, not a crown, but Riftmaker, Ludens, even a Leandries. Overall, everything would be more efficient against, the really tanky Tom Kench, Sejuani, Ornn, And we don't see, we don't see Ezreal opting in for an LDR. I assume he has cut down. I'd hope so, from the runes, but we can only assume.
Right.
Trundle, I hope, opts in for a Black Cleaver third item, because that's the only way I foresee him doing any damage at all.
True. But the only one benefiting from that Black Cleaver would be the Ezreal, right? Because these guys, the double AP solo lanes, so the Armor Shred wouldn't actually do a whole lot for them. Them being the Silas and the Gwen. But Wild Snom is just continuing to be an absolute menace over here. Throws out the Bellows Breath. The pillar goes a little bit wide. Does get the flash out to Gabriel. The flash follow is there. Ooh. Oh, he misses the turret. Oh, wow. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. He's too far ahead. They're gonna, oh my god, Tanuki's in the pit, but he doesn't get the steal. It is secured by the Warp Priest, and yeah, this fight was never going to be close. Wild Snom gonna teleport into the play for good measure. They do manage to take out the Casted, which is a silver lining, a small victory for the side of No Penta. They'll take any size victory that they can get, I think, at this point in the game.
I think it doesn't matter here at this point.
Yeah, so that will be their last victory of game one.
Now. Ezreal's gonna die here.
Yes, I am almost certain that this is the push to end the game. Funny Beaver could go back, or does have the teleport, I should say. When he does respawn, he will be able to rejoin here. Called the Forge God comes out. Wild Snom absolutely nails it. Dark Assault connects as well. The Arcane Shift was too late. And Rhythm is indeed, as you say, Noble, dead. He's stolen Called the Forge God, though. Nice. Knocks down the Sejuani like a bowling pin at the end of an alley. Gabriel lands the strike, and he will actually deny the end game siege from continuing.
I wonder if Gwen has been lagging or not this game. I'm unable to see the in-game chat, so I couldn't say. Gwen possibly lagging this game.
Oh, Tanuki wanted to make his way into the river to make sure that this dragon wasn't getting taken down, but he ended up ensuring that he himself was the one taken down. Very unfortunate turn of events for the troll.
Don't think it'll matter though. I don't. Let's see. Trundle doesn't have flash up. There's nothing he can do here, even if it did unpause. To be fair.
Yeah, not quite sure what the reason for the pause might be. If we do get any updates, we'll be sure to pass those along to you guys. But yeah, this first game, it just
looks like it's
wasn't really very close right now.
Just a reminder to everyone. We quite possibly could go to a short break here, depending on how long this pause is. But just a reminder, after this game, I believe there is a community event night here at Mythic Esports. So stay tuned for that, because that will definitely be a fun time. I don't believe we had one last week, as I believe it was Worlds Clash last week. But
yes,
the week before that, we did have a a group game night, so that was very enjoyable.
Yeah, we heard something about in-houses happening tonight after our regularly scheduled matches. So, yeah, that is definitely something to keep your eyes out for. If you're over there in the Discord server, make sure you hop in there to join in. Definitely going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, no updates on the pause just yet. I'm not sure what's going on there. I think we are just going to go to a quick break while we sort out these technical difficulties, guys. So sorry for the interruption, but we will be back with week 3 of the Starcaster series in just a short while. All right, everybody, we are back. Sorry for that brief interruption, but things are going pretty much as expected here on the Rift as we return. The
Troll
Troll
King
King
died.
is down, Dragon soon to follow. This will be Hex Tech number 3 for haters of Renekton.
Yep, 18 attack speed and 18 ability haste, I believe, correct?
Kind of a lot, yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit. You know, that is, I believe that's how much Lucidity Boots gives, no?
Yeah, somewhere right around there. Sorry, I was just clapping to appreciate your point there. It's a great point you were making there, Noble.
Oh, thank
About
you,
the
thank you.
lucidity boots, but yeah, it is. Continuing the mountaintop is just getting farther and farther away from Team No Penta as the Glacial Prison does fly out here. Anvor is pretty tanky. You know, he does have the Mercury Treads. He's got some tenacity here. He's going to be able to survive for a little while at least. He has the Locket, gives himself a nice little shield there, but he is still dead. And now Rhythm is trying to fire out those Mystic shots, but even when they land, Noble, they don't really seem to be doing a whole lot of damage, although Yiku is taking a little bit here. Of course, back away, but he is really getting out those auto attacks. He's on 4 items, is the Varus, I believe, so he is really packing a punch here. See him starting to melt through those health bars. Rhythm extremely low. Trundle going to get taken out. There goes Gwen as well. The front line is gone. Rhythm is... Whoa, that's Funny Beaver. Picks up 3 kills with 1 Rip Walk. And that will indeed be the Nexus. 30-10. Final score as We Hate Renekton make a statement.
My goodness. I can't even do the math. It looks like an 18k gold lead at the end of the game there.
Too much. Is that extremely big gold lead? That's what you need to know.
Too
It
much
was
gold.
really big.
You know, if there's a gap over like 5, that's like okay, the game's over. You know, it's too much. You have to throw to lose that.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have that gold lead, and then you also have Cassidon and Ornn on your team, I mean, like it's just there's not even you can't even really have a conversation at that point about the game. Like
Yeah.
it's just yeah, and you know that's really what we did witness here was just a little bit of a dismantling of No Penta here in game number 1. See if they make any adaptations. You know, going into the draft phase here for our second game. Where do you think things really started to fall apart, Noble, for the side of No Penta here in this first game? Where did things go wrong? What was the key mistake that led to this just devastating spiral of destruction?
There was just nothing to kill the tanks. Nothing, you know,
So it was from draft, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, they had no one to kill the tanks, and then they had no items to kill the tanks. They didn't opt in for any like high tank killing items, you know. I mean, we didn't see a Black Cleaver get built from the Trundle, though I don't think it would have lasted long enough for him to build that full item. I didn't see his components going into it. I didn't see a Culden's or a Kindle Gem either. But Ezreal opted in for Last Whisper fairly late into the game, as well as the Silas opted in for Everfrost against their comp, and I believe went Hourglass second. And we just didn't see a lot of penetration from any of the items. I mean, obviously Divine Sunder, I believe it was what Ezreal was going. Not too sure, and we saw that on Trundle as well. But that little bit of percent doesn't really stack up early enough in the early game versus us seeing like a Void Staff on the Silas third item, or us seeing a Ludens or a Riftmaker or a Leandries, anything that was good against tanks we didn't see. So I feel like the itemization as well as just the overall comp. I'm not too sure if Ezreal took cut down or not, or if any of them took cut down, but that would have helped certainly.
All right, folks. Well, we shall see if the side of Team No Penta opt for a little bit more penetration in their next game instead of being the ones who receive it. But before then, we are going to go to a short break. But don't go anywhere, as the Starcaster series will return right after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Champion Select for Game 2 of tonight's best of three. The teams have swapped sides. We will be seeing No Penta move over to blue. And that, of course, means that the Crocodile Dislikers will be taking positions on red. Already into the bans, we see some very similar bans hitting the bench here, Noble. Very
Oh, yeah.
familiar, these bans.
Looks like the exact same so far as last game. The Kaisa, the Vlad, the Zach. So I'm wondering what we'll see next here as we're going into 8 seconds left on this next ban.
Yeah. I think at least from the side of We Hate Renekton, I think we can expect
Oh, there goes
the
Trundle.
similarities to continue. Although actually, yeah, that is a little bit different. Wanting to go ahead and get rid of that Trundle and deny Tanuki from picking that one up again. Despite the loss, maybe they just felt like he was a little bit too comfortable on that champion. Um, yeah, and just gonna go ahead and remove that one. See if we
And
can
the
see any
tree.
other adjustments. Yeah, so that is going to be then the exact same bans for no Penta, although they are of course on blue side this time. So we could still see some adjustments.
Yeah, it looks like the Sejuani is actually stolen this time.
Right. It was of course on the side of We Hate Renekton previously in the jungle position, but is of course a flex as we mentioned before as well. So the Sejuani, now that it is on no Penta, could be going into a couple of different positions still. We'll just have to wait and see until a couple of more picks are locked in, until we have a little bit more information on that.
They're keeping the TK pick, it looks like here. They did enjoy that, as it is a very aggressive support pick.
Yeah, worked well for them. Definitely, that's another champ that they were looking pretty comfortable on the side of We Hate Renekton, that is. And the Ornn, once again, as well. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I mean, Snams did run a little bit of a clinic up there in the top lane, kind of just dismantling his lane opponent quite handily. See if he's going to be able to repeat that performance. I am not expecting to see the Gwen again, Noble.
Yeah,
But it'll be
I don't
interesting
think we'll
to
see that
see.
either, honestly.
Right. But it will be interesting to see, what Numbnuts decides to go for instead. Taking a look at his champion pool, he does have a lot of games on Irelia. While I don't think that's we are seeing Cho'Gath locked in, so that is likely the pick, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I do like seeing Cho'Gath. Oh, and we're gonna see Set here. So
It's your
definitely gonna
boy
enjoy
Set,
seeing that.
Noble.
Yep,
That's one
yep.
of the champions you like.
It is, it is. I love seeing Set.
Whoa.
He's a cool character. I also like seeing Cho'Gath too, so that's nice.
Hot dog. We got a couple of champions that Noble's a fan of in this one. And another thing to take a note of here is actually that all six champions locked in so far, I think, can be considered to be tanks. So
Yep, they
that
are.
does seem to be a preference actually for both of these squads. We like the tanky boys.
Oh yeah. Well, all of them here can, opt in to grab a Sunfire if they wanted, though I don't think we'll see that
Good.
on a Blitzcrank. I feel like we'll see just an average support item here. And on the Set actually can abuse Sunfire Bork similar to Master Yi and other champions while he opts in for lethal tempo. So that is a very strong itemization that he can use here. It also looks like the Victor, once again getting banned, but this time the Ezreal was banned, as well as the Varus, and it looks like they might be trying to pick their ADCs last here, which is something we didn't see last game as we saw no Penta opt in for locking in Azriel Leona right away.
Yeah, lots of marksman bans here in the second phase of things. And yeah, that's the Syndra hover. So it does appear to be as you predicted, Noble, saving the AD carry pick for R5 is We Hate Renekton. Very interesting strat there. And
And the Caitlyn
this
pick
is
too.
going to be, I believe we are playing on the current live patch. So this is reworked Syndra hitting the Rift for us. So that'll be also extraordinarily interesting to take a look at here.
Hmm.
And there is the Caitlyn, actually. This is something that you did call out, I believe, at the end of the previous game, Noble, or maybe it
Mm-hmm.
was when we were on break. I don't quite recall, but
It was during the end of last game while we were watching the second to last fight, I believe. It looks like we'll
yeah.
have a Zir mid too against a Yone mid. So just another one of those champions that can
Oh.
abuse, Sunfire, Bork pretty well. And he can opt in for his other two crit items that he gets, such as IE and like a Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster.
So that means
So,
it's Syndra bot.
I feel like it might be a Yon. It might be Yon. It could be Syndra bot. I'm not too sure what they changed on Syndra, so I can't really say. The only thing
I'm
I've ever seen bot has been a Yone, unless it's. I've seen Syndra support, but I don't think that's the case here.
Oh, Syndra bot is absolutely a thing, and it has seen play at all levels in the past. Obviously, reworked Syndra could be a little bit of a different beast here, and I also don't really know what to expect from that. But I do think that that is extremely likely that it is going to be the Syndra Tom Kench bot lane, and then the Yone picked into the Azir. So I do think that's going to be a better matchup for the Yone. But we'll see. I could be wrong. Um, and it's yeah, there's a couple of very interesting compositions here. I do think that the side of no Penta have a pretty well-rounded composition here. They've got some great front line, and then they have some better scaling this time around. They have the Azir for themselves, so a very strong scaling champion in the mid lane, and then Caitlyn, of course, does have a little bit of a power trough in the mid game. But once she does get towards full build, she is absolutely going to be able to dish out that DPS towards those later stages of things. So pretty strong composition for them coming out from blue side here. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to tie up our series. Um, but what do you think about the jungle matchup this time around,
Um,
Noble? It's gonna be. Hang on a second. Who's
who is
jungling from
jungle?
We Hate Renekton? Who
Um,
is the jungler? Is it Yone jungle
um, you
and
know,
set mid maybe?
uh,
Set mid into a Azir seems awful though. Like there's no way that's it.
yeah, I'm not too sure.
I'm
Interesting path.
stumped.
I could
I don't
only,
know.
I would only assume maybe orange jungle. That's the only thing that comes to my mind.
No,
Orange
no
jungle
way.
just because of, I mean,
No.
after they changed jungle, almost anyone can clear jungle pretty well. But
Those changes are not live yet. That's preseason for next season.
I thought, no, this was like 6 months ago or something when they changed
What
jungle. The one
what
I'm talking
changes?
about. They made all the jungle monsters I think do less damage and have less health or something.
Oh, I remember the patch that you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because all Or needs to do, like if he gets help with the red buff, for instance, he could go EW and like brittle all of the chickens, for instance. He could clear chickens fairly fast. And for ganking, I don't know how amazing that would be. So
Yeah.
probably a set jungle. I don't know.
It's
I have
yeah. I
I have
really,
no idea.
you got me too there.
I
Yeah,
have, these
it's
are
a mystery.
I haven't tried jungling with any of these people. So
We're just gonna have to wait and see there, Noble. Yeah, because I'm a bit at a loss here myself. We do appear to possibly be having a little bit of a delay here getting into the in-client draft. Not quite sure what the holdup is, if we're waiting for the teams or what, but I guess we will be going to another short break while the teams sort out some more technical difficulties. So sorry about the delay, guys, but we will be back as soon as possible. Thank you for bearing with us, and we'll see you again real soon.
Welcome back, everyone, to Mythic Esports here. We are in our second game of the third week here with TPO on both sides. TPO, and it looks like we're actually having an invade here. TPO, We Hate Renekton versus TPO, No Penta.
Okay, we got the fight breaking out right away, but that is a 5-stack coming through for No Penta, so we're going to force some flashes away immediately from the side of We Hate Renekton.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be a summoner spell advantage early on. The little bit of an unorthodox way for the Blitzcrank to gain his advantage, but effective nonetheless.
Oh, yeah, and it looks like it is set jungle, as was discussed. Surprising to me. I wonder how it'll go, honestly. He opted in for the Conqueror this game, though he is missing his flash early, so it'll be... Actually, I believe it'll be about similar timing for him to get his flash up. It shouldn't matter too much, just because he is jungle. So, having his flash up at like 5 minutes or whatever, not the worst, because he can still utilize it in his like second gank, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. The set jungle going to be set behind a little bit early on here by missing that flash. But, set probably, I mean, I don't really know, obviously, because set jungle is not something that I have ever seen before. But my assumption would be that he would not normally look for any early ganks or anything like that, considering the fact that he does not have any gap closes, and his gank method would be walking slowly at an enemy laner. So,
I know his Q gives him
okay, walking
movement speed
slightly faster than normal at an enemy laner. My mistake, Noble. Excuse me. But that is going to be the hook landing on Magus Knight. And so he's taking a lot of damage here, and he will be forced to flash. That is now 3 flashes. Yeah, four summoner spells all day already burned off of We Hate Renekton here. But not significant until those advantages are actually capitalized on. We need to see the kill count going up, and that is not the way to do it, Anbor. You need to be hooking champions, not minions. Okay, my friend?
Tragic flash burn right there for the caster minion.
Yeah, not what you wanted to see necessarily. But yeah, Blitzcrank gonna have plenty more opportunities to land those hooks. Gabriel gonna take some damage here from the Yone, but Beaver does take a tower shot on the way out there. It's gonna even up that trade, and Magus Knight got hooked again! And War will find his mark this time around, and he will take the first blood for himself as a reward.
Yeah. Poor Caitlyn there. That was a pretty good lineup, but I think she just barely didn't do enough damage. I am enjoying seeing the top lane, though, here.
Yeah, so Numbnuts, we're looking for a strong performance out of him this time around. Has a level advantage right now, looking to get the wave in. But Wild Snom going to land the Bellows Breath and push the Cho'Gath away. So not going to be able to proc the Brittle just yet. And the Ornn is actually running out of mana here. So Numbnuts doing pretty okay thus far. As Aztec Warpriest makes his way into the bottom lane. The Fist comes out from the Blitzcrank, gets the knock up, and the Scout of the Week does land, and that's a beautiful base breaker from the Warpriest. The slightly faster than normal walk forward proved to be exceedingly effective in the end, despite the fact that there was vision in the river for No Penta. So who am I to judge? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and pick set jungle right after this cast. I'm going to see what I can do with it. Aztec Warpriest really showing me the future of the metagame here in the jungle, really on the bleeding edge here of the League of Legends metagame. Very impressive stuff, but
oh yeah. Cho'Gath opting in for a fast bag. Not a cheater recall though, as I don't believe he shoved in the wave, and he did use teleport to return to lane. Also, Set opted in for water walking, I believe it is, or it's river walking. I believe it's water walking though. So he is moving faster in the river, helping him get that gank a lot faster, you know, rotating in between lanes. I for one enjoy that rune personally.
Yeah, and you know that is something that I had not accounted for. You know, with all these, you know, we've come up with a few little movement speed steroids for Set at this point. I think we can maybe reclassify his brisk walk into maybe something more akin to a jog.
A slight jog, yes.
Yeah. So this is starting to actually not unironically make a little bit more sense to me now. You know, I would have actually maybe even liked it even more if he had the Hex Flash or something like that as well. But that
I was
would make
expecting
it.
him to I'm trying to think of the rune. It's under sorcery. It's the center one. Um,
Celerity, the one where your movement speed
yes, that's what I was thinking.
X are enhanced. Yeah. Yeah, that could work. But the only thing is Set definitely does want Yellow Tree here, so he would not be able to get those movement speed. Okay, Azir's gonna get knocked up here. The Fate Shield comes out, but a beautiful Shreem and Shuffle gets the double knockback into the tower, and Gabriel finds the 1v2 outplay in mid lane and is able to tie things up at 2-2.
Yeah. Well, the set opted in for water walking, so I believe water walking is at the very bottom of the tree, is it not?
Yes, it is. It is indeed.
So the other thing he had opted in for was nullifying orb.
Oh, Yiku? Yiku, he's got the flash. He could go for it here, but he didn't want to risk it. He does have level 6 now as well. He's going to go for it now. The Scout of the Week only connects onto the Blitzcrank, but the Unleashed power. He had the outplay button, and Rhythm got outplayed. Caitlyn goes down for the second time this game. Here comes Tanuki in the top lane. Wild Stomp turns back around to try and go for the knockup, but he can't find it. He does land Call of the Forge God, but there's no follow-up. And Numbnuts will survive. He's able to walk back in. Oh, the flash! Wild Stomp! Oh my god, he just wasn't giving up until he found that kill. He wasn't taking no for an answer. And he's going to be able to walk his way out too. Oh my goodness, this guy is just picking up right where he left off at the end of game 1 and continuing to style all over Numbnuts up there in the top lane.
So tragic. You'd think he would have silenced
so
there. You
dirty.
Silenced to
That was
engage.
filthy. Oh my god, Snum.
No, you're trolling! No!
What? Wait, what? The camera wasn't there. I didn't see. What?
Oh my goodness, the Sejuani Glacial Prism and flew in with the aftershock damage. Didn't do enough and just dies. It's so sad.
Doomed. It's so doomed. Oh my god, Wild Snom carries the game again. I'm calling it right now. This Ornn is the carry. He is the front line. He is the mage. He is the assassin. He is the bruiser. He is the care. He is He is the whole team.
Here comes
this Ornn right
jump
now.
Set running into the lane. Oh man. I cannot believe he just gave Ornn 2 kills after he was already such a solo lane warlord, dude.
He's got his CS lead is starting to get built up a little bit here as well. I don't know if it's quite at the place that it was this time last game, where the Ornn CS lead that is. But it certainly is. It's growing.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Yeah, and that is going to be the first dragon secured, Herald alive, and with this Ornn on the top side. I mean, I mean, they didn't get it last game. They did end up actually giving, I believe, both Heralds over to no Penta last game.
Yeah,
but I really feel like
they gave up 4 early objectives: 2 Heralds, 2 Drags.
Yeah. And to be fair, it did very much work out for them. But I really do feel when your top laner is this far ahead, that should be a very, very easy setup if they did want to go for something like a first Herald.
Especially since top lane is one of the lanes, you know, where it's all like, there's a lot of basis on skill, obviously, but it's a lot of matchup basis too.
Oh, we already used the rocket grab, so everything's fine down here.
And so, you know, Cho'Gath being behind, you know, it's a relatively even matchup, I believe, between Ornn and Cho'Gath. But obviously, once the lead's there, it's a miss again. It's kind of hard to come back from it, just because it is a solo lane. You're not going to be solo killing your other laner anymore.
Absolutely not. Yeah, the Ornn has got himself nearly a 2-level lead. That was okay. Fate Shield in the mid lane, but Funny Beaver gets scooped into the turret again. It's the same play as before. Gabriel finds the same play twice in a row.
Oh my goodness!
Kills the mid laner this time with it. Okay, and now we got something breaking down to the bot lane here. Tanuki making his way down here, lands the Glacial Prison, but he continuing to press forward, but he gets grabbed back, he gets hooked back in, and he can't close the distance. Rhythm,
No.
that was a very ballsy
He should have
ace in the
done it to the
hole.
tanks. Oh.
Yeah. He could
He
have
should
maybe
have
walked
been
into
like,
the tanks
well,
there and
Caitlyn
given the
hasn't
kill
used her
over.
ult yet, you know.
Yeah. I mean, if the Syndra had actually gotten Scatter the Weak off cooldown there, I think there is a chance she actually could have killed Caitlyn during like the ult animation before she fired the bullet. But I guess Iku just didn't have the cooldowns available.
Look, rifting top here as well.
Yeah. Okay, Herald was secured while that fight in bot lane was happening. So we get the charge into the tier 1. Numbnuts is going to be pretty dead here, probably. He's going to flash underneath the tower, but the Showstopper brings him right back out from there. And here comes the Force God to finish the job. It's actually the Haymaker that's going to clean him up on that one. But Snom in a little bit of a tricky position now. He is trapped behind the tier 1, and he's going to get hooked back in and taken out. Big old shutdown going to Gabriel's Azir.
Azir's going to be a problem this game, I feel like, because, you know, he's 3-0 right now. Decent CS, too. Syndra actually losing the trade pretty bad there. She lost half her HP.
Absolutely, and Azir making his way into the top lane does, of course... Oh, that's another kill for the Azir. Aztec War Priest just going in for a 1v2. That was not necessarily correctly advised.
I feel like if Set was going to do anything there, he should have focused the Azir, because the Sedge is lower, right? But she's a tank. She already has her Ninja Tabi, Bomby Cinder.
Bunny Beaver. Oh, a nice buffer on the Q3 there. Tries to get away from the Rupture. Will have to use the Flash now as well, and he is absolutely on the wrong side of the Rift. Dodges away from the Rocket Grab as well. Going for the Fade Seal. Binds it onto the Sejuani. Does he have enough damage to finish it? No. He snaps back and is devoured by the Cho'Gath. Magus Knight now going to take a big old bullet to the back of the head. And Gabriel is going to pick up the last hit on that one. 5-0 now on the Azir. He is on a rampage.
You got to think about the micro too, though, here. The micro and the macro here. The Yone, how he had E'd away from the Blitzcrank grab, but how he set up his ultimate as well. Not only was he...
That's that Caitlyn.
Ooh, nice. What it looked like was the Yone was trying to just get everyone away over the wall, away from himself and the Tahm Kench. So what it looked like he was trying to do was grab everyone and take them over the wall so TK and him could have a chance to run away. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, though, as Azir was there.
Yeah. It was a decent attempt from Beaver. It did look a little bit funny, but that's maybe just because it's in his name. Knight going for the missile dive there, but Gabriel will scoot himself to safety.
Yeah, Azir racking up the gold. Looks like he might take a back here pretty soon. It looks like he considered backing, but might stay for this next dragon.
Yeah, dragon number 2 onto the Rift now in just under 10 seconds time. We have a little bit of vision right now in the river from We Hate Renekton. They do have some wards in the area. Tanuki's also here, and he's actually just going to go ahead and start this one up straight away. But it is spotted out by the side of We Hate Renekton, so they look like they're going to be moving in here to contest. We got the teleport into the mid lane for Syndra, but Magus Knight caught out a little bit here before things even get started. Gabriel going to absolutely shred through that Tahm Kench's health bar very easily. He doesn't even have a full completed item yet, but here comes Aztec Priest with the Showstopper. Gets a lot of damage down onto the Blitzcrank. Rocket Grab going to go wide there. Set still alive. Does eventually get taken out. Bunny Beaver finds the Q3 into the Fade Seal. He's going to finish him off. He gets the Azir. Has been shut down. I didn't quite see who picked up the shutdown gold, but regardless, that is absolutely massive for the side of We Hate Renekton. They're gonna clean up the Sejuani as well. Yiku picking up the gold for that one. Oh, the flash over the Rupture. Very nice for Snom. He's gonna get himself yet another kill up here. And unfortunately for Numbnuts, we are not seeing that rebound performance that we were hoping for.
Uh-oh. Looks like I said this, I did say this earlier, and I'll say it again. The Sunfire abuse is real this game. I believe it is. I believe that's what Set is going to opt in for, is the Bork Sunfire. He's picked up Bomby Cinder, and he also already has Bork completed, as well as we see Ornn with Sunfire completed. We see TK and Cho'Gath also with Bomby. And definitely going to be an interesting build this game. Ornn also completing his, is it Winter is the first item, and I believe it turns into Winter's Approach once it's completed.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
No, okay. It's
Steals the dragon. That's the dragon kind of. I thought this dragon was a short thing, but Aztec War Priest took a little bit too long to kill it, and now it gets stolen away. Yiku, with a nice scatter, buys himself some time. Magus Knight here to do a little bit of peeling as well, but they look like they're in some trouble. Gabriel sliding forward. Yes, Wild Snom is here for the defense, but Tomcat's going to get taken out. The 4-man knockup is massive from Wild Snom. Throws out the Call of the Forge God, and he just runs them over. Freight Train Ornn rolls into the bot side jungle and takes some names.
That was insane play right there by the Ornn. Not only turning the fight, but cleaning up everything. Grabbing some of that free gold here. Ornn sitting on about 1,100 gold as well. So very well situated right now. Not even boots yet, not even tier 1 boots on the Ornn. Looks like Cho'Gath has also opted in for the Ninja Tabi, so Sejuani and Cho'Gath both sitting on those, which is nice to see here as there is a Yone, a Set, but there is a fair amount of CC too, you know. I believe the Brittle does count as an airborne though, when you do get autoed, so.
Oh, does it?
I believe so.
Spaghetti coded at the finest, I suppose. Because, yeah, the dragon being stolen away there could potentially be important, despite the fact that side of no Penta did end up losing a fight pretty handily afterwards.
What soul is it?
It is the Hextech soul.
Hex soul,
Hex 8's on the rift. Second game in a row, we're going to have that Hextech soul. We have to call the Forge God coming out now in the top side jungle. Rhythm in some trouble. The Brittle will wear off. Yes, Wild Snom not able to get into the wall there. Didn't find the knock-up, and now the Tomcat is going to get yoinked back in here, but he does manage to dive over the wall, and Wild Snom goes back in yet again and finds the kill onto the enemy marksman.
Oh, no!
Oh, he is going to get shut down eventually. Yeah, what happened there? Did he not feast on the Ornn? Oh, Aztec War Priest gets a big ol' face breaker onto 3, gets a lot of CC down there, already used the Haymaker, but has the smite to finish off Tanuki. A very chaotic fight here as the Tomcat is going to get taken out on the other side of things. War Priest now still on the run. He has Syndra kind of
he wins this fight
in the wings here. I don't know if he wins the 1v3. I'm not convinced.
Not the 1v3, but he would have won the 1v1 if he was able to just clean it up a little bit faster. If he used his face breaker there on the blitz, I feel like he could have taken him out pretty well. But yeah, I believe it was Ornn's Winter's Approach turning into Fimbulwinter and giving him the shield initially is what protected him from that feast. Because Ornn was unaffected by the feast. It should have killed him, but it did not. So I believe that either Cho'Gath had used his feast slightly too early, or it was the Winter's Approach.
Grab? Ooh, just barely too short there. Beaver walked out.
Oh yeah, we also see the Syndra had opted in to grab a Medjai's. So they are playing pretty ballsy this game, picking up the Medjai's. 10 stacks on it as well right now, so pretty strong.
Well, Noble, I must say, this second game is much, 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 much closer.
Oh yeah.
On game number 1. The gold is still significantly in favor of Renekton because they are, of course,
gold difference.
Continuing to CS much better than their opponents. But at least in terms of the fights, they have been very even back and forth. As Wild Snom gets knocked up a couple of times, but the Caitlyn has already been devoured. But she's going to get spit back into a place where she really did not want to be. That's going to be Rhythm going down to start this one off. 5v4 on the map now for We Hate Renekton as they siege down the mid lane. A beautiful scatter coming out from the Syndra there. And Yone flying over the wall, gets a lot of damage down onto the Azir. All eyes on Gabriel here, and he gets absolutely grabbed and dunked straight into the dirt. War Priest finds the last remaining carry for no Penta, and they already have their hair. Is it? This is the end of the game, Noble. Right as I was saying that it was close.
It was so close, too. I blame Sejuani and Cho'Gath. They both built Frostfire instead of Sunfire, and we see Set is going to opt in for Sunfire here. because he has his Aegis of the Legion, and that's my take on it.
Yeah, Noble. It definitely was the double Frostfire build and not just a skill gap across the board.
Yeah,
As
for sure.
as the Nexus will stand for now. As the
For
War
a very
Priest
short
will get
time, most likely.
picked up, he will be sacrificed. Yes, I'm expecting it to be a fairly short time. As honestly, if we're having a conversation about what happens, as Wild Snom is going to flash away. Oh, that's a scatter. That's a call of the Forge God. That's a Bellows Breath. He takes one with him. The outplay button, not quite enough. Tanuki still alive for now. Yiku went into the cooldowns, come back. The Arctic Assault gets the Sejuani away. The scatter over the wall. And Yiku picks up number 8. Big ol' shutdown on that Syndra now. Funny Beaver looking for a little bit more, and he will find it. The execute damage on the E snapback allows him to secure the kill onto the enemy support. It'll be a comfortable third dragon for them, and I imagine, Noble, that they might be looking for a Nexus fairly soon
Oh
after.
yeah, I feel like they certainly. There's multiple possibilities for how they could end up ending this game.
10,000.
One of them, I feel like, the typical common force Baron fight, because if they don't contest, they lose Baron, push out side lanes, get a 3 opening, or if they do contest Baron, their base is fairly open in this situation, because inhibitor's down for another minute and a half, I believe, which does allow any of them, set Yone, either or, even TK to just walk in the base and auto their Nexus.
Yeah,
So,
even
pretty
even
dangerous situation.
yeah, absolutely. The open Nexus is something that you always have to be playing around.
Oh yeah, here's the Baron.
Yep, that's going to be another 2-minute Baron this time. So this is 2 whole minutes slower than what they were able to do in game number 1. So a little bit of a regression here, I think, for We Hate Renekton in terms of their the pace of their securing of the Baron Nashor. But regardless, they will continue to build on their gold lead. And they're gonna. Oh no! Oh, that's not where you wanted to recall Mr. Azir. Oh dear. Oh, he's very dead.
Right here.
Tragic
L was taken.
A little bit of a sad ending there.
TK and Ornn are just gonna walk in. Same walk animation, by the way.
Yeah, true actually. Who knew Catfish and Forge Gods walking in the same manner? We did learn something here. Today. We learned a couple of things, actually. No, we learned that second jungle.
Sunfire, that's what we learned.
Sure, that's another lesson. We could take that one home with us as well. But yeah. So we learned some things today. We learned some things today, didn't we, Noble?
Oh yeah, very interesting game though. It is it was really close for a while. I was rooting too. I was like, it is really close. We might be seeing a nice long game. Nope. This game was shorter than last game too, I believe. This is only 23-minute game, and it was much closer. And Azir had such a big lead too. And for about
He really did.
five
He was
five
massive.
minutes, I think he didn't get any kills the last 5 minutes of the game. It was just
No.
gone.
They just didn't play around him well enough, maybe? I don't know.
It's that everyone played too loosely. They didn't have enough vision, I feel like. I'm gonna look at the vision
I
scores
guess.
here.
Yeah.
No, they had
But
relatively even vision.
if we are actually looking to assign some blame here, Noble, I am actually prepared to take a significant portion of that blame myself. As right before we did see that big team fight go in favor of We Hate Renekton, I was literally just talking about how it was such a close game and how the side of no Penta were doing so much better this time around. So I did curse them fairly severely. Yeah, my bad. Sorry, guys. It was an unfortunate lapse of judgment on my part. So I do apologize. But regardless, I mean, we had a couple of entertaining games here. We really witnessed the Renekton haters display some dominance on the Rift tonight, specifically and especially Snoms up there in the top lane, 2 games in a row. Just absolutely gave them the bonk with that hammer, man. He sent them right to horny jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect your 200 bitcoins, whatever. And that was just like he absolutely was the main reason I think we can comfortably say why those games were as not close as they were in the end. Just building up ridiculous CS leads, just getting solo kills, winning team fights single handedly. He really was doing it all.
Yeah. And it's oh man, there was just so much. This game, I was really enjoying this game. Honestly, this was a very nice game. We saw Set, we saw Cho'Gath. All was good.
We do
Uh,
have some MVP voting. I'm just noticing over here in the Twitch chat. So anybody who didn't notice that, go ahead, cast your votes. We actually have a lot of votes for Yiku here, which is a little bit surprising. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my vote for Snom. He gets my vote for sure.
yeah, he got my
But
vote.
yeah, I mean Yiku had a good game as well. We had some good games across the board here for the side of We Hate Renekton. Lots of solid performances here. But I really feel like Snom is the one who put his foot down and said, "Okay, guys, we got our lead. Let's go ahead and win the game now." And he just kind of made it happen.
Yeah, definitely though. I did. I'll say I've said it multiple times. I really enjoyed watching this game specifically. I will say CS diff.
Yeah, honestly.
Like the gold difference, like Ornn was always ahead of the Azir in gold. Even when Ornn had less kills than the Azir, I believe it was like
Mm,
4 less kills than the Azir. Azir just didn't shine in the CS department. He didn't have good minion kill score, so definitely diminished his lead a bit. Not being able to kill the Ornn. Of course, Ornn being able to build Fawn and Fimble Winter and Sunfire, all these resistances. Ornn didn't even opt in for boots this game.
yeah.
So he was pretty immobile. Azir would have been able to kite him out. I feel like, with his movement. So
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna
guys,
be
Wild
honest.
Snom did win the MVP vote, and we have him with us in the call now for a post game interview. Congratulations, Wild Snom, on your very clean 2-0 tonight. How are you feeling? How's the team feeling?
Really mad at Jim because he banned my Zach both games.
How dare he?
I wanted to play Zach.
Unacceptable.
Zach and Ornn are my two pocket picks, and I didn't want to play Ornn. But
Well, they forced your hand, and I guess they got what was coming to them. Is that right?
it would have been a lot more exciting if I was on Zach. I'll be honest. Would
Zach
have been a
top.
lot more
Well,
solo kills.
I was pretty excited. I was excited by the Orn. I'm not excited by the champion itself necessarily, but your play on the champion, I did find actually to be quite exciting. So props there. Even if you weren't feeling very excited, I think
Oh
you
no,
were
I
able
mean,
to impart that to our viewers. So thank you for that, Mr.
I
Snow.
mean, I was still making plays around the map, even on a boring champion. Like he can be boring,
Hmm.
but I mean, when you make plays with him, it's like, oh shit, this champ does something. He doesn't
He
just
sure
sit and farm
does. He
top all
sure
game and give
does.
people mythics.
Yeah. Kind of what we were just discussing actually before you joined us, Mister Wild Snom, is that you were the first thing I guess we could say that you were able to do in both of these games really was able to create a very significant lead for yourself in lane. So I was wondering if maybe you could walk us through that a little bit. If you were you expecting to win lane that hard? Is this something that you do regularly on Orn?
I mean,
How did your expectations compare with what happened in the game, and like how do you feel like you were able to use that lead to win the game?
it's really just the top lane matchups. The first game it's against Gwen. Like Gwen into Ornn, Gwen needs to hit like 3, 4 items before she can start doing anything to Ornn. So I can
Mm,
just shove the waves in, let it push back into me, wait till she leaves, take free plates, and then just eventually just outscale the shit out of her. So it's like, yeah, that game she can't really do anything besides farm. But the second game, Cho'Gath did let me stop me from taking a lot more plates and laying a lot more often. I really don't like the Frostfire though. Sunfire right now is just a super broken item. Everyone builds it. It's
yeah, no
pretty
builds actually.
obvious what
Just
Sunfire Demonic combo is. It's just such a good item combo. I was debating
mhm.
building the second game because it's just so good. But
Demonic on the Orn.
yeah, did get the AP ratio for your R. get the
Sure,
burn.
sure. Yeah, he's got plenty of damage in that kit. Yeah, you could absolutely make
WR.
that work. You're gonna be less tanky, but if you just
More
I mean, I
tanky.
don't think I saw
Gives you a
you
fair
go
amount of
below like
health, and it gives you free
75%
AP.
HP for that entire game. Yeah. Being tanky was not really a concern for you whatsoever, it seemed like.
I mean, orange is hard scales resistances. You don't really need.
Yeah,
You need pretty much 2 items, and then you're pretty much set for the rest of the game.
absolutely. Noble, you got a question for us?
What do you think could have been done differently overall? Obviously, the itemization you said, such as Frostfire, which was a point that I also brought up during the games. What else do you think could have been done to like make a difference versus like maybe top lane picks? Since they did know you play Ornn and Zac, and they did opt in to ban your Zac, who do you think they should have picked to like stop your Ornn, or what do you think they should have done better to stop you?
I think a lot more aggressive top laners that win early against Ornn. Ornn kind of just. I mean, he just sits there and just clears waves. He can't. He shouldn't be allowed to do that. The Trundle first game was a step in the right direction, but he fell behind really badly, so he couldn't really do anything to me. So it's like,
Yeah.
What do you think about the
yeah,
conk on Trundle? Do you think lethal tempo would have been a better opt, or PTA maybe?
I don't think it's bad, but lethal tempo is definitely still better. Because lethal tempo on Trundle, the whole reason you build it is you go divine first and you just keep spamming Q over and over again. You just win the jungle early, and eventually hard scale that into your R pretty much deletes somebody. Especially into R comp, like Trundle R is very important here. Tom, Sejuani, Ornn, pretty much any R is a guaranteed kill because we all have shitloads of resistances.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Definitely.
And including the stolen armor too, it gives Trundle the resistance, so
Yeah, he'd be fairly tanky ulting an Ornn.
yeah, definitely. What did you think about the Azir lead? Were you worried about that initially, or were you like,
I
I'll just
mean,
build Fawn and win?
with my support inting, but I think that I wasn't really that worried because yes, Azir right now is very strong, but we have very CP tanky heavy comp here. So he gets hit by one ability, basically dead. There's nothing he can really do, even as Azir.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can sit here and discuss rune choices and item builds all day. I'm sure, but really, from my perspective, it didn't necessarily feel like that was what was deciding the games. To me, it really did kind of feel like a potentially a little bit of a hands diff here, kind of across the board for your squad of Renekton haters. So I'm kind of curious if you feel the same way. If you think the game was really mostly decided, in fights and just in throughout plays basically, or if you actually do feel like the item choices and build choices played a significant role in determining the outcomes of these games.
I mean, I don't think it was too significant. I don't. I mean, I don't want to flame our team because we scrim against them all the time, but I mean, there were just some
Yeah, I
picks that I
mean,
didn't like the Silas lat the first game. There's not a lot of good ults for him to take this game, like Varus ult, Kassadin ult. Like, there's not much he really can do in that game, and with opting for 2 defensive items, really not much he can do with that either. But I mean, we played a lot of the fights in the first game so much better. We were winning early bot side. I was winning early top, just CS lead. Second game, a little bit messier in the Azir, but we pulled it back late because we were making some other plays on the map, getting the dragons.
Noble, do you have any other questions here?
That's my last question here. What did you think in the first game about losing the 4 early objectives? What was your thoughts on that?
Honestly, what were the first 2 dragons? It was Infernal and like no, it wasn't
I believe
Infernal.
it was
Mountain
Infernal and Mountain.
might have been. Mountain for their team, yeah, it's a lot stronger on us, but I wasn't too worried about losing that. And one Infernal isn't really as bad as like 2 or 3 Infernals. So again, wasn't really worried about that. Heralds were a little bit different though. Getting a lot of free gold just for shoving it in the lane is good. But you saw what we did with it last game where we just
Oh
shoved it,
yeah.
took out every mid tower and took 2 Nexus towers. It
Hmm.
can be either a small amount of gold or just straight up winning the game because of it. I don't think that they did anything wrong with those heralds, but they definitely didn't do as much as they could have, with especially with the lane matchups. Ezreal doesn't really push lanes as fast as someone like Varus or Horn.
Yeah, yeah. Although, yeah, and I'm actually remembering one Herald in particular that they dropped in game number one. It was the first Herald that they secured, where they dropped it in mid lane to gain priority to try and move over and secure their second dragon. And you guys actually stopped it from even getting the charge off there. So I think definitely maybe
That
even a
happened.
lot of room for improvement in terms of Herald use.
Mhm.
I didn't even know that happened, honestly. I think they were just throwing
Yeah,
it down to try and secure the dragon, because I think we did end up
yeah,
losing
yeah.
that dragon.
They were using it for priority, and they did end up getting the dragon, but then they also ended up getting kind of a little bit taken apart in a fight immediately afterwards. But
Yeah, they got rolled that fight, I believe.
I do believe so. But regardless, it was a very solid win for you dislikers of the crocodile over there. And I kind of want to get your thoughts here. Last question from me as well, Mr. Snoms, is your thoughts moving forward here for the rest of the season. Looks like next week you are going to be taking on the Goats, and then week 5, last week of the regular season, you're going to be going up against the Argonauts. So either one of these teams that you're particularly looking forward to face off against, or how do you feel like the squad is looking to shape up here as we move towards the back half of the regular season?
Well, Goat we played against last split, so I'm happy to see how they've improved or changed. And then, what is it, Argonauts? Well, again, we scrim against both Argonauts and No Penta, which we know. I mean, pretty much everyone in TPO knows what everyone's going to pick before the game starts. Like Jim and everyone else does a very good job of knowing what people play. But basically, yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to see how our teams have improved, see how Goat has improved since the last split, see if Anbor can make some big plays in his next game, because he was definitely making some this game.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Mm.
definitely excited to see how you guys fare. Going up against those next two opponents, and yeah, it's looking from here that you're certainly going to be doing some damage in the playoffs as well. So, looking forward to see where you guys end up this season. And congratulations again on your 2-0 tonight, and thank you for stopping by for the interview.
Welcome.
If you have any shout outs or you want to say hi to Twitch chat or anything, hand the mic over to you here for a second. Anything you'd like to say to the stream.
My ADC and Fort need to stop venting, and my Jones slash top listeners need like second pass with protein.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Snoms. And yeah, that's gonna do it for our POG interview.
Oh
Noble, do
yeah.
you have any closing thoughts on tonight's action or
Um,
on
games
week
were
3
great.
overall?
Games were enjoyable to watch. Too bad they were pretty short, it felt like.
We're a bit short,
Just a
weren't they?
reminder to everyone, I believe there is a an event night tonight here at Mythic Esports, almost said Team Gap. So make sure you guys come along for that if it is going on. It will be right after this stream ends, I believe. Um, but yeah, I believe. Do you have anything else to say, crewman?
I think that's gonna about do it from us, Noble. Absolutely fantastic to be back on the casting couch as always. Thank you
Glad
for
to see
joining
you
me for
again.
tonight. Absolutely, absolutely,
You
and
guys,
thank you, all of our viewers, very, very much for watching. We appreciate you guys all very much. So, on behalf of myself, from Noble here, from the entire production team over here at Mythic Esports, thank you for watching. Good night.
Good night.